The PXN V10 was probably the worst wheel that I've ever tried. I completely bombed it on my review. The funny part is that PXN, knowing this, they still contacted me to try their new professional gaming peripheral. I have to hand it to them, that is really brave. So, should you get the PXN V10? No, you shouldn't. Let me explain. Back in June, when I received a contact from PXN asking me if I wanted to check it out, I saw the images and then I had a big deja vu. So I went back in time, especially towards the Inside Sim Racing YouTube channel, and I started scrolling on the videos, and there it was. The Mad Catz Professional Racing 4-seat back wheel, or whatever it's called. Now, reusing an old design isn't bad. Here's world-famous chef Anthony Bourdain to explain.
I'm a chef on a Sunday afternoon, setting the menu at a big restaurant. I ordered my fish on Friday, but some of the fresh fish doesn't sell. I don't know why, maybe it just came out halibut has the intelligence of a dolphin. So, what am I gonna do? Throw all this unsold fish on in the garbage and take the loss? Being the crafty and morally onerous chef that I am, whatever crappy levels of the bond I don't sell, I throw into a seafood stew. See, it's not old fish, it's a whole new thing.
I know for those of you who've seen this movie will want the Margot Robbie scene. Let's talk about the price. It's $360 or 329 quid. The wheelbase is a gear-driven, dual-motor 4-seat back unit with a detachable wheel. The housing can have its tilt adjusted and can be either mounted on a rig or used on a desk. It is compatible with the PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. The pedals are Hall effects, which will have springs that can have the preload adjusted, and there's a shifter that is actually quite nice. Everything connects to the back of the wheel, and to control and change the settings, there's an app for that. Sadly, as far as I could find it, there is no driver or app for the PC, so you'll have to use the app on the phone. The base, as it is a quick release system, it will have a 26cm wheel that can be removed. The wheel has this fake suede / Alcantara, and the buttons are in front are okay. The ergonomics are pretty okay as well. The shifters and clutches are horrible. So in theory, we should have a complete unit. It has 4-seat back, it has a detachable wheel, it has everything and connects to, most popular consoles. So how is it? Well, first of all, it's a good thing that this thing doesn't have a lot of torque because the desk lamp is really bad. The rear of the unit keeps lifting, but anyways, it's about what you'd expect from it. It's not particularly horrible, but it's simply not worth the effort thinking about this wheel or spending much time reviewing it. All the changes, once again, need to be done through the app, which by itself silly. The options make no sense. For example, the friction value turning it to 0 disconnects the 4-seat back for some reason. There's a constant dampening force even with the dampening set at 0, and it does not come from the natural friction of the wheel. The 4-seat back is muddy, it's non-responsive, it doesn't get any useful information to the wheel. The 26cm wheel isn't too bad, except when you need to use the shifters because they are absolutely trash. The pedals, all things considered, aren't too bad. They kind of remind me of knockoffs T3PAs because honestly, it's what they are. They can be used on the floor because the rates are very soft. As floor pedals, they are actually fine because of these rates, but side to side with the T3PAs, which they seem to borrow a lot from, there's no comparison. These are far inferior. The shifter is actually okay. It has a nice touch. You can also get it into higher gear if you are into, for example, Euro Truck Simulator. Does it chop? Nice resistance. The gates are clear. I like it. It doesn't take long to try this wheel to see it's a completely forgettable experience, and that will lead me to my conclusions. So back when this wheel was first released by Mad Catz, this was 2014, and Darren on that video already compared it to the Driving Force GT. He was comparing it to a wheel that back then was already 7 years old, and he said the Driving Force GT is better. Granted, it was $399 back then, and it had less things, but here is the rub. If back then a cheaper, older wheel was already better, and I have to agree, I have tried the Driving Force GT in the past, and it is definitely better than this, let alone now where things have changed a lot. The pedals sure aren't really that bad. They are okay, they do their job, and the shifter is, it's okay as well, but we need to be fair. I need to be fair to you, and I need to be fair with everybody. We're talking about a wheel that costs $329, which is more expensive than a Logitech G29 with a shifter. It's only slightly cheaper than a Logitech G923 with a shifter. And honestly, this wheel cannot hold a candle to the T300 RS GT, which is very close to this price. Every single one of this wheel, even if you add a T150 or a T248, will be better than this and will have better 4-seat back, better quality, It will be a faster wheel with more use cases. You can drift with them. A lot of stuff. It has buttons. It has a much better performance and overall a much better experience. And this is why I can't really entertain this wheel, because for me this wheel is a completely piss take in 2022. The V10 seems like the V9, a very much checking boxes kind of a thing. Does it have a quick release? Yes, it does. Does it serve any purpose? No, there aren't any wheels. There weren't any wheels back then, and very doubt that there will be any wheels with this. Does it have force feedback? Yes, it has force feedback. The force feedback sucks. The force feedback quality isn't good. It feels muddy, it feels grabby, and controlling it over an app doesn't do much because honestly you just pump up force on the wheel and that's basically it. There's no fine-tuned control of effects. Even if you start messing with sliders, for example, in Content Manager, it does zero. Sure, it has a shifter. The shifter is good. Sure, it has pedals. The pedals are decent, but in an overall package, it can't hold a candle to anything else that is around this price. Sure, it has PlayStation 4 compatibility, but you know what? You're basically circumventing the chip because you do need to use the controller. I think just like the V9, the V10 is basically taking consumers for the ride, especially those who are not informed. Just like the V9, the V10 can't really differentiate on price. Even if you say the price isn't inflated because of the features basically are very poorly implemented and they are not worth your time.